So, what does it really take to succeed? Our guide today is someone you might not expect. Kevin Hart. Yeah, we're going to go beyond the laughs to uncover his really powerful philosophy on the one thing that truly matters most, and that's finishing what you start.
Just think about this for a second. We spend so much of our lives trying to find that perfect career, the perfect project, the perfect plan, but what if the secret isn't in the choosing at all, but in the completing? That's the core idea we're about to dive into.
And this is really where it all begins. Kevin Hart's whole point is that if you're waiting around for everyone else's approval before you even start, well, you're going to be waiting forever. Like he says, nobody has confidence in your decisions like you do. That's self-belief. That's got to be your fuel from day one.
So, let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Before the sold-out arenas, before the blockbuster movies, there was just a guy with a dream, facing a whole world of doubt.
I mean, just look at this massive gap between his dream and his reality. His own friends, his friends, hit him with that classic line, "You're funny, but you're not comedian funny." Ouch. They just couldn't see the path from selling sneakers to becoming the next Eddie Murphy. And you know what? To be fair, at that point, he probably couldn't either.
And here's the thing. The idea to even try comedy wasn't some big lightning bolt moment he had by himself. It was just presented to him. A friend just said, "Hey, you should do stand-up." And he gave it a shot at an amateur night. And that was the moment he fell in love with it. It wasn't about having a perfect plan, it was just about taking that first, kind of scary, uncertain step.
Okay, so now he's fallen in love with comedy. But passion's great, right? It doesn't pay the bills, though, and it doesn't get you booked for shows. Back in the 90s comedy scene, he needed something real, something tangible. He needed proof.
Before YouTube, before TikTok, before any of that, this was everything. A physical VHS tape of a killer set was literally the only way to get your foot in the door. It was your resume, it was your business card, and your audition all rolled into one. Hart talks about the feeling of getting a good tape in his hand like he was holding pure gold. It was the key to everything.
But here's the really crucial point. Getting that tape, that wasn't the finish line. Not even close. It was just the ticket to the real race. Sure, it got him auditions, it got his name out there, but it also opened the door to a whole new level of struggle and rejection. The real work was just getting started.
So this next part, this is what separates the people we hear about from the ones who just disappear. It's the long, the unglamorous, and the absolutely essential part of the story, the hardship that truly defines the journey.
13 years. That's how long Kevin Hart says he had to endure the bullshit. The hardship, the lack of money, the constant doubt, the grind. For 13 straight years before he had any kind of significant breakthrough.
And that's really the question, isn't it? Hart says most people, they drop out after year 2, maybe year 3. When the money isn't coming in and the dream feels impossibly far away, quitting just seems like the logical thing to do. But what happens if you don't quit?
And this just lays it all out perfectly. The pack gets distracted, right? They chase quick money, they start a dozen new things thinking it'll increase their odds, but they never actually complete anything. The one who makes it, Hart argues, is the one who stays focused on that original goal, who puts in the time, and who actually finishes the journey they started.
See, he learned to see failure not as this giant roadblock, but as part of the process. Every failed joke, every empty club, every single rejection was just a lesson. It was data that made him sharper and smarter and better. He actually embraced failure as a necessary partner to success.
So where does this incredible mindset even come from? For Hart, it all started at home, with a really powerful and honestly, an unforgettable lesson from his mother.
So picture this. Kevin is broke. Like, seriously broke. He can't pay his rent, he's about to get evicted, he calls his mom for help, and this is her response. A simple, but probably pretty frustrating condition.
So for a while, he lies about it. He keeps telling her, "Yeah, Mom, I'm reading it for sure," but nothing changes. Finally, he's totally desperate. He sits down and he actually opens the Bible. And what happens? Checks for months and months of his rent just fall right out. His mom had already paid it. She just needed him to take the step to finish the simple task she had set for him. That was the lesson she was teaching him. See, it was never really about the Bible. It was about commitment. It was about the personal pride and the integrity that comes from saying you're going to do something and then actually seeing it all the way through to the end. That, right there, is the definition of finishing.
And this brings us to the final and probably the most important takeaway from all this. Let's look at how this simple act of finishing can completely change your life.
Hart's whole belief is that starting more things doesn't increase your probability of success, it actually does the exact opposite. It divides your focus, it scatters your energy, and it prevents you from ever truly completing anything. The real power lies in putting 100% of your focus into one thing and seeing it all the way through.
So the crucial point here is this. Your roadmap is your responsibility. You have to decide what you want, you have to go find the information, and you have to put 100% of your focus into it. Nobody is going to hand you the plan. You have to have the discipline to finish that one sentence before you can start writing the next chapter.
And this is the ultimate reward. It isn't just about the money or the fame. It's about being able to look yourself in the mirror with pride, knowing you honored your own commitment. That self-respect, that's the foundation you build everything else on.
So as we wrap things up here, I'm just going to leave you with this. We all have them. Unfinished projects, abandoned goals, half-written stories. Inspired by this whole idea, think about the one thing that really matters to you. What is the sentence that you are going to finish?